How to fix it takes two not opening after patch. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, our team is tackling a frustrating issue where it takes two refuses to launch or completely crashes right after applying a language modification or software update. We analyzed this error extensively and found that patch incompatibilities frequently disrupt the core executable sequence of the application. During our testing, we compiled a definitive step-by-step diagnostic guide to get your system stabilized and get you back into the game smoothly. At Teknobalta, we first identified that certain localized language modifications frequently cause the game executable to crash on startup. We confirmed that completely removing the currently installed patch is the essential first step to isolate the primary issue and restore baseline functionality. Our team discovered that specific translation mods, particularly the previously functioning versions, were failing to launch immediately after recent base game updates. We found that these older modifications require manual updates from their developers to remain fully compatible with the current software build. During our testing, we verified that reaching out to the original patch creators via their official support channels can sometimes provide a temporary hotfix. However, our analysis showed that waiting for these back-end server updates does not always yield an immediate resolution for end users experiencing persistent crashes. To resolve this launch failure quickly, we strongly recommend downloading an alternative, currently maintained modification package. Our team successfully tested the alternative translation package, which works perfectly to bypass the crash loops on the latest version of the game. Once you have acquired the correct files, carefully extract them directly into your main game directory. We advise using the standard copy and replace method to completely overwrite any conflicting configuration data from the older, broken patch. It is absolutely critical to ensure that the base game build strictly matches the supported version of the modification you are installing. We confirmed through extensive debugging that version mismatches are the primary culprit for infinite loading screens or immediate desktop crashes. After replacing the problematic files, our next mandatory troubleshooting step is to verify the integrity of your game files through your digital storefront. We tested this verification process via the primary launcher, which automatically scans for and repairs any corrupted core engine data. If the application still refuses to initialize, navigate to the main installation folder and locate the primary executable file. We advise right-clicking the application, accessing the Properties menu, and checking the box to always run the program as an administrator. While you are exploring the Compatibility tab, we also found that checking the box to disable full-screen optimizations significantly improves overall launch stability. This specific action prevents the operating system from forcing a graphical overlay that consistently conflicts with customized game files. Security and antivirus software will frequently flag modified game executables or dynamic link libraries as severe system threats. We strongly recommend opening your primary security dashboard and manually adding the entire game installation directory to the active scan exclusions list. Occasionally, the digital launcher's temporary background cache creates a desynchronization error with your locally patched game directories. Our team resolved this synchronization fault by completely closing the launcher, opening the integrated recovery tool, and permanently purging all local cache data. Outdated or missing Visual C++ redistributable packages will consistently prevent modern gaming engines from initializing their primary rendering sequence. We verified that downloading and installing the latest integrated runtime packages from the official Microsoft repository fixes this initialization crash instantly. Similarly, a corrupted primary DirectX installation can halt the application entirely before the developer introductory logos even render on screen. We strongly suggest executing the official DirectX web installer tool to seamlessly patch any missing or damaged graphical interface dynamic libraries. Background applications featuring aggressive on-screen performance overlays can instantly crash patched applications during the delicate boot sequence. We recommend temporarily terminating these background monitoring tools via the Task Manager to ensure they do not hook into the application's rendering pipeline. Your local configuration files stored deep within the hidden AppData folder might improperly retain corrupted graphical settings from the previously broken modification. We advise manually navigating to the local directory and permanently deleting the specific game configuration folder to force a clean system reset. When utilizing a complex multi-monitor setup, the primary game engine occasionally struggles to allocate the main display if a custom patch drastically alters resolution parameters. We found that physically unplugging the secondary monitor cable during the critical initial launch sequence easily bypasses this graphical initialization glitch. In certain configurations, the default launcher overlay conflicts directly with third-party language files injected into the main executable memory block. We highly recommend navigating into your launcher's global application settings and disabling the in-game overlay function entirely before executing your next launch attempt. Modifying your computer's virtual memory allocation can provide the necessary background headroom for heavily modified applications to load their abnormally large asset pools. We successfully stabilized the memory launch process by setting the paging file size to system managed exclusively on the primary solid-state drive. Completely reinstalling the application should be your final dedicated game troubleshooting step if all previous file replacements and local verifications completely fail. We advise performing a totally clean installation, launching the software once without any modifications, and then carefully applying the verified patch later. Moving on to our mandatory universal system health tips. Corrupted operating system files frequently sabotage executable sequences and background services without any warning. We highly recommend opening the command prompt application with administrative privileges and executing the standard sfc/scannow command to discover and repair core system vulnerabilities. Finally, outdated graphical processing unit drivers are the single most common cause of sudden application failures following major system updates. We strictly advise performing a completely clean installation of your newest graphics drivers using a dedicated removal tool to guarantee optimal system stability and peak rendering performance. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more.